Sony's getting serious about virtual reality. Valve has a documentary available now that you should watch, and 2 Assassin's Creed games are coming in the next year. Video Game Hub begins right now. What's up guys, this is Dave LeClaire, gaming editor for MakeUseOf.com. Let's get this started off with our third story, and that is the Valve's free-to-play documentary is here right now, and it is doing gangbusters in terms of views. It's already netted 5.5 million views, and it just came out early last week. And to top it off, features everybody's favorite hooker. I'm not talking about that kind of hooker, I'm talking about Dendy from Navi. Everybody knows Dendy for his Pudge play. He's an awesome guy. He's in the movie. It also documents HYHY and Fear, 2 other fantastic Dota players, and it follows their tale from the first International, which was the tournament that really put esports on the map with a $1 million prize pool for the winning team and $1.6 million in prizes overall. Now I sat down and watched the documentary the day it came out, and I have to say it's absolutely fantastic. Now of course I am a Dota player, so that does skew my perspective a little bit because I understand what's happening, but I watched it with my girlfriend who is not a Dota player, and she actually had a pretty good understanding of what was happening throughout the movie. It did a great job of explaining things. She did have a couple questions here and there about some things that happened. I won't go into any spoilers for anybody who's going to watch it, but there were a couple parts that came up where she was kind of unsure about what was happening, but a quick explanation for me and we were back to enjoying the show. So if you haven't watched Free to Play yet, it's available on Steam for free. It's also available on YouTube. For some reason it's on iTunes, but it costs $10 on there. I don't know why anybody would pay that when you can get it on all these other platforms for free. But you should absolutely check it out. It is a fantastic documentary. 5.5 million people have already watched it. Most of them love it. And it is definitely worth a look whether you play Dota or not. If you're into video games, it's an interesting documentary, that's for sure. So check it out. All right, let's keep moving with our second story this week, and that is Assassin's Creed Unity and a yet-to-be-determined name for a second Assassin's Creed game coming in 2014. Now, Unity actually leaked on Kotaku first, and then Ubisoft just said, whatever, screw it, let's announce the game. So what do we know about it? Well, we know it's going to be a French Revolution-based Assassin's Creed game, and that's about it. We know it's coming to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, not last generation consoles. That's where the second Assassin's Creed game is going to come into play, because that, which will be released also later this year, will come to Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 owners. But from the sounds of things, it's going to be a completely separate story and a completely separate game not linked to Unity. Now, that does not mean it won't also be in the French Revolution time period. We don't know that for sure, but it's definitely going to be a different game. Now, they've dropped a little tiny teaser trailer for Assassin's Creed Unity. It doesn't really say much about what's going on. You can hear people yelling. Sounds like they're revolting because it's a revolution. And you see our hero or anti-hero sitting on top of a roof ready to do his assassinating thing. And that's about all it shows. It's quite clear that the trailer was just made in response by Ubisoft because it leaked and they were like, well crap, now we gotta get something out there because people already know about the game, so we might as well make it public. So they threw together this little alpha trailer and that's it. It looks really good, especially for an alpha, but we could be looking at a Watch Dogs situation where they show a trailer and then the final game doesn't look anything like that. So you can't really get too excited about the visuals by the trailer. But we know it's coming. We know it's coming later this year. As if it was a surprise to anybody, there's going to be a new Assassin's Creed game. It's nice to know the setting is going to be French Revolution. That could be very cool. But the fact that a new Assassin's Creed game is coming is not a surprise to anybody, considering they've released a new one pretty much every year. Now we just have to hope that this one is as good as Black Flag and not like 3. Time will tell. We'll see how it is, but it looks promising and hopefully it's good. All right, before we move on to the #1 story this week, it's your chance to win a free Make Use Of t-shirt. Just tell me what game the image you're seeing right now is from, and you'll be in the running to win the free shirt. We'll put all the names of the people who get it right into a randomizer. The name that it tells us is the name that wins. Comment either here on YouTube or on the post at Make Use Of. Either way is acceptable, and you could be in the running to win. And of course, we have the winners from last week and the week before's contest. The 2 episodes came so close together when we switched to Tuesdays that we didn't have a chance to announce the winner. So the 2 winners from the t-shirts are John Lore and Brendan LBJ. So John Lore and Brendan LBJ have both been contacted. They both know that they're winners. But in case they didn't see the message, we're telling you now on the video, you won the t-shirt. Check your inbox for how to redeem your shirt, and congratulations. Now, let's keep it moving. All right, folks, and with that, it is time to move on to the #1 story this week, and that is, of course, Sony's Project Morpheus VR headset that it showed off at GDC. Now, this is about the only piece of big news to come out of GDC this year, which was actually a rather tepid event in terms of news, but this headset does look promising. coming with 1080p resolution and 90-degree field of vision, which is a little bit smaller than the Oculus Rift, but according to reports is still sufficient for the games to look quite good. It will require a PlayStation camera in order to work. That will support the motion that goes along with the gyroscopes and the accelerometers. So it will require a camera. It will not require PlayStation Move, but it will support it for games that allow it. So if a developer wants to make a game using the movement from the headset as well as movement in the hands with the PlayStation Move, that is something that will be supported, but it will also support your standard DualShock 4 controller while you play. It definitely looks promising for people who are into virtual reality, and unlike the Oculus Rift, this comes with a big major corporation behind it. The Oculus Rift has grown into a fairly large brand name that people recognize, but it's not on the level of Sony, especially with the massive success that Sony is seeing with the PlayStation 4 right now. So if you're a fan of virtual reality, which I'm gonna admit, I personally have absolutely no interest in virtual reality. I tried the Oculus Rift at CES last year. It did not do anything for me. Thought it was cool, but not really something that I would ever want to use on a daily basis. I prefer to play my video games on a TV. I guess I'm just old-fashioned. But if you are, Sony's Project Morpheus definitely looks like something you're going to want to keep an eye on. Early reports from people at the GDC was that it was pretty good. Not everybody was in love with it. Sounds like right now the Rift may be slightly ahead of Sony, mainly because of the field of view, which helps you get more immersed into the experience because you don't see any black on the edges of the screen. Everything pretty much fills up what you see. But it's still a prototype. They have no announcement date as far as price and as far as release date. So there's plenty of time for them to tweak some stuff, perhaps increase the field of view. We'll see what happens there. But to see Sony going hard into virtual reality tells you that it's here to stay. Sony, a major corporation, would not be investing money if they didn't see some serious potential there. So we'll have to keep our eyes on Project Morpheus and see where it goes. Sadly, this episode of Video Game Hub is officially coming to a close. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out and watch the show. We hope you will keep watching the show every week. Maybe you'll tell your friends. Heck, maybe if you're feeling generous, you'll even leave a like on this video so that the whole world knows that you love Video Game Hub. And while you're at it, why don't you click the subscribe button right over here so that you never miss another episode of Video Game Hub. Or directly under me, why don't you click and watch last week's episode of Video Game Hub if you missed it. There's still some relevant news bits in there. And of course, if you want to see more stuff from MakeUseOf, why don't you check out our most recent technology video that we've put out over here about Arduino, and you'll learn a little something there. Maybe it's, it's not video games, it might not be your thing, but you might just discover that, hey, I really want to make some Arduino stuff. This video is going to show you the way. And once again, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. It will use gyroscopers. That's not a word.